Hello, family. Welcome to the Africa Diaspora News Channel. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, my name is Lynient Akotonou, reporting from Nigeria. Thank you so much for tuning in. While we wait a few seconds for others to join in, thank you so much to everyone that has tuned in. Yes, this is my first live, and I'm excited to be here with you. So yes, this is Africa Diaspora News Channel. Can we hear me? All right. So before we get into the gist for today, if you haven't downloaded the Africa Diaspora News Channel, why haven't you done that? Please go download the Africa Diaspora News Channel. There's some things we cannot see here, obviously, but on our channel, we can see anything how we like it. Yes, so today we'll be talking about Burkina Faso and Nigeria. Interestingly, my country. We're talking about Nigeria and, well, lately, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, and Benin, this trio has been making the headlines. From Benin Republic, the attempted coup that did not happen, of course, to Nigeria going out to help, when we've not settled our own selves. We've not done anything to the insecurity and instability in the country. Our presidents, obviously, went out to help Benin Republic. And then we have Burkina Faso in the equation. What happened? You might be wondering. Well, we're going to talk about that. But before then, we're going to watch. Give me a few minutes to put it on.
Communiqué de la Confédération des États du Sahel, AES, relatif à la violation de l'espace aérien confédéral. La Confédération des États du Sahel informe l'opinion qu'un aéronef appartenant à l'armée de l'air de la République fédérale du Nigeria, de type C-130, a été contraint de se poser ce jour 8 décembre 2025 à Bobo-Dioulasso, au Burkina Faso, à la suite d'une situation d'urgence en vol, alors qu'il évoluait dans l'espace aérien burkinabé. L'avion militaire avait à son bord 2 membres d'équipage et 9 passagers, tous militaires. Une enquête a été immédiatement ouverte par les services compétents burkinabés et a permis de mettre en évidence l'absence d'autorisation de survol du territoire burkinabé par cet appareil militaire. La Confédération des États du Sahel condamne avec la plus grande fermeté cette violation de son espace aérien et de la souveraineté de ses États membres. Face à cet acte inamical du droit international et des règles internationales d'aviation civile et ou militaire, les dispositions sont prises pour garantir la sécurité de l'espace aérien confédéral, la sûreté de ses États membres, ainsi que la sécurité des populations de la Confédération AES. À cet égard, et sur instruction des chefs d'État, les défenses aériennes et anti-aériennes de l'espace confédéral mises en alerte maximale, conformément à la déclaration du Collège des chefs d'État en date du 22 décembre 2024, ont été autorisées à neutraliser tout aéronef qui violerait l'espace confédéral.
Well, family, so that is what they came out to say. We are going to be reading exactly what happened. We want to know what happened, so we are going to be breaking it down in this video. Now, let's check this out. Faso government released this statement from the Confederation of the Sahel States. Now, we are talking about the Sahel States, not just Burkina Faso. Sahel States includes Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, not just Burkina Faso right now. So the Confederation of Sahel States informs that a C-13 aircraft belonging to the Federal Republic of Nigeria Air Force was forced to land today. And that was 8th of December, a few days ago, 2025, at Bobo Dioulasso in Burkina Faso. Why? Following an emergency flight situation while it was evolving in Burkinabe space. Now, the military aircraft had on board 2 crew members and 9 passengers, all military. And they said an investigation was immediately opened by the competent Burkinabe services, and they made it clear that the absence of permission to fly over the Burkinabe territory, these military aircraft. The Confederation strongly condemns this violation of its airspace and sovereignty of its member states. Now, family, we are not done. Let's also read the second. Now, they said in this regard, okay, let's start from the beginning. In the face of this inhuman act led to contempt for international law and international civil and or military aviation rules, arrangements are being taken to ensure the safety of the Confederate airspace. Now, in this regard, and at the instruction of the heads of state, the air and anti-aircraft defenses of the Confederate space, that's it. Let's not go deep down. But now, family, let's talk about what really happened. So what happened to Burkina Faso and Nigeria? It's clear. Burkina Faso grounded Nigeria's aircraft, and they called it violation of privacy. Now, they said the Nigerian aircraft was evolving over Bobo Dioulasso in Burkina Faso, that's their airspace, and they had to make an emergency landing. Why would Nigeria aircraft be found in Burkina Faso? Why was it there in the first place? Now, the Nigerian armed forces actually responded, and we are going to check it out. But now it's illegal, family. It's illegal to be seen in the airspace of another country without authorization. It is. And you cannot land without authorization. Now, imagine going to a person's house unannounced. Now, that's when you went there unannounced. It's one. Now, opening the door, going in and sitting, making yourself comfortable on the couch. It's not your house. It's not your couch. You went there. Anything you receive from me as the owner of that house, just take it. And that's what happened there. Thankfully, the Burkina Faso government was even calm. Imagine those on watch, the watch guards, seeing an aircraft they have no authorization or whatsoever idea about. They are free to either open fire on this aircraft or do whatsoever, because that aircraft is violating their privacy. It's coming to their own land, their own airspace. Now, the Nigerian Air Force actually responded, and we are going to check it out. Now, they said, I think this is the wrong. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, so here it is. The Nigerian Air Force actually responded. They said they wish to clarify reports regarding the diversion of a NFA, that's the Nigerian Air Force C-130 aircraft, during its ferry mission to Portugal on the 8th of December 2025, following takeoff from Lagos, Nigeria, landing in Bobo Dioulasso, Burkina Faso, the nearest airfield. Now, what happened? They said in accordance with standard safety procedures and international aviation protocols, Nigerian Air Force had to land. Its crew is safe, and they have received cordial treatment from the host authorities. And plans are ongoing to resume the mission as scheduled. The Nigerian Air Force appreciates the support received during this period. Yes, that is what they said. Now, family, did we just see that? The Nigerian Armed Air Forces claimed they encountered issues, technical issues, so they had to land at the nearest airspace, which was Burkina Faso. It happened to be Burkina Faso. Now, the question is, Burkina Faso came out to say that there was no authorization. And Nigerian government is saying, the armed forces is saying, rather the Air Forces said they landed and the crew members are doing all right. The crew members are doing all right when the Burkina Faso government came out to say that they landed without authorization. And our Air Force said they were going to Portugal. To do what exactly? Let's not forget that all this it was going on while the Benin coup, attempted coup, was also in the background. What did they go to do there? Let's not forget that all these countries are neighboring countries. We have Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger. We also have Nigeria, Benin, Ghana. They're all bordered. They're all close to each other. So it's possible that, yes, en route to Portugal, they have to follow the Burkina Faso route. It's necessary because that's the route they have to follow. But now landing where you are not supposed to, and then you call it technical issues. Now, with what Burkina Faso government is facing, the insecurity and everything, and how that we know that our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has some affiliation with France, Macron. Now, with what happened in Benin, I'm sure we've heard the story, but let's do a quick backstory. How that Benin soldiers came out to stage a coup. They took over the national TV and said that they had taken over, they were going to bring about peace and stability. Now, they also said that they did not want France or any other external player to interfere. Unfortunately, France did interfere, and we got a win of it. We heard that a call was placed to our able president, our beloved President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of Nigeria, and he sent the Nigerian aircraft, fighter jet, to go dislodge, to go fight. He said to go restore the peace and security in Benin. Family, let's say this. Okay, we want to see what president actually said. Because he came out to say that, yes, he actually did send these people. He sent the Nigerian armed forces to go fight. And we are wondering, we haven't had peace in Nigeria for a long while. Yet our president is going to go save, as the Superman that he is. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said, earlier today, on my orders, the Nigerian armed forces stood gallantly as a defender and protector of the constitutional order in the Republic of Benin on the invitation of the government. Our armed forces acted within the ambit of the ECOWAS. We know ECOWAS is involved in this, right, family? Protocol on democracy and good governance. They have helped stabilize a neighboring country, and they have made us proud of their commitment to sustaining our democratic values and ideals since 1999. Nigeria stands firmly with the government and people of the Republic of Benin. Family, help us judge this, that the president went out of his way, deployed the armed forces, his soldiers, to another country to help fight. Meanwhile, we in Nigeria, we've been crying out on a daily. You know, we've staged protest upon protest, but none of them have been taken seriously. Our government either brings up hoodlums take over at some point, and then we don't know what we are protesting for, because the protest is hijacked from us, obviously. And then there is tear gas, they open fire on civilians who come out to protest peacefully. Now, judge this, that our president is sending our soldiers, our own soldiers, to Benin Republic. He's talking about stability and democracy, 1999 Constitution. Yet we do not have peace. Now, one of our presidents said, past presidents said, if insecurity or instability or terrorism acts continue in a country, let's say above 24 hours, 48 hours, the government is aware. We are trying to connect the dots in Nigeria, and very soon we're going to get it, because we know that some of these leaders are involved in it. And for our president to be let's talk about what happened a few months ago. We have girls, young children that were taken from school. Now, we have over 200 of them that were kidnapped by this Boko Haram group, this extremist groups. Now, our president came out all of a sudden to say that he's working to ensure that our girls are released. All of a sudden, we heard that 100 girls were released. They didn't tell us how they were released, if any of these terrorists were actually arrested. Nothing was said. We just heard that they've been released, just like that, family. So, our president is stemming the tide, keeping the peace, ensuring stability in another country, while our own country, Nigeria, isn't stable, family. Well, let me just check on the comments. Nigeria aren't supporters of Pan-Africanism. Obviously. Let's talk about this Burkina Faso, we're talking about who we're looking at as the Pan-Africanist leader. Just take a look at Captain Ibrahim Traore. He's actually doing well. Now, family, let's break this down a little bit further. We heard of this coup takeover in Benin Republic on Sunday. That's the 7th of December 2025. On Monday, we got a wind of the fact that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu actually sent our own soldiers to go fight and keep the peace in Benin Republic. Now, is it legal for him to involve himself? Meanwhile, he did this without the approval from the Senate. Then, few days later, as of yesterday, we heard that the Senate has approved our president sending the armed forces to Benin Republic. That means he actually sent them without approval from the Senate. Now, our question is, what is he actually seeking approval from the Senate for? Because we know that he had already sent them to Benin Republic. And now, a few days later, we heard that the Senate is actually approving him sending our soldiers to Benin Republic. What are they approving when he has already sent the soldiers? Can you imagine, family? Well, they think we don't have sense in Nigeria, but we know what they're doing. And let's not forget that President Macron is friend with the president of Benin. Let's not forget that. So we are wondering why the coup did not happen. Well, at some points when I saw the soldiers come out to take over the national TV, I was like, are you sure you guys have really, really conquered what you need to conquer? Have you really put the president to flight? I mean, we don't want any coup to, happen in any African country, but the way it's going, family, Benin Republic is the largest producer of cotton, but they are the poorest. I'm sure we know why. Because when there are external players, you don't expect a country to prosper. Hello, Randy Ann. Yes, I'm checking the comment section. Jerry Nelson says he stands with the Burkina Faso government. Kata Driftwood says Traore is playing with us. Can you tell us why you think he's playing with us? Why do you think he's playing with us? Now, in something like this, we know. Because, we've talked about a whole lot, from Burkina Faso grounding Nigerian aircraft to the Benin coup and how that Nigeria is involved in it. And now we hear that Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is now the savior of the world. He's funny enough, family. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the Superman of Benin Republic. So we should applaud him. We should clap for him because he's doing well. Oh my God. Well, let's check the comments. Yeah. When I checked out the number of times our president has actually traveled to France this year, it's above 15. Our president Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the number of times he has traveled to France. What is he going to do there? And Nigeria isn't getting better from one problem to another. Yes, and now we ask this question, is it proper for another country to involve themselves in the struggle or problem of another country? But let's check this out, family. Give me a few minutes. Now, family, I saw this. Senate approved Tinubu's request to deploy troops in Benin. Now, this was released on the 9th of December. We talked about it earlier, but he already sent the troops before 9th. So what are they approving? If the approval comes out 9th or 8th, he already sent troops. Now, this coup attempt was made on the 7th, that's on Sunday. And a few hours later, the evening of Sunday, the president comes out to say that they've successfully taken over those who wanted to take over the government. They successfully disarmed them, and the president has taken over. That means President Bola Ahmed Tinubu actually sent troops before this came out. So what approval was he waiting for, or was he looking to receive from our senators? Our senators who we know are obviously sellouts. They can't make any decision without it being in favor of the president. So what are we waiting for? Do we actually think that they are going to say anything in favor of or against the president? No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't, family. Anything they do is in favor of the president. I mean, the president has bought. Oh my God. Well, let's check out the comment section. African leaders can't command European presidents. Yes, bring the sections. Let's bring your comments in. Actually, that's Rilo. Unfortunately, the governments are reaffirming the stereotype that Nigerians are sellout. Well, we could say that. Oh, hello. I can see your comments. And we have Daniel who is crying. Well, we have to weep because of the deplorable state of our country, Nigeria. We know that we are going out there to save the world, but we are not saved. We've not saved ourselves, but we are going out there to save the world. Now let's check this out. Was Nigeria's intervention legal? Now I'm talking about Nigeria's intervention in Benin Republic coup. Was it legal? Now, generally, under international law, a country, now this is according to Vanguard, a country cannot deploy military assets in another sovereign state except under specific conditions. Now, Article 51 of the United Nations Charter recognizes that self-defense is a fundamental human right. Now, under what conditions are they or is Nigeria supposed to deploy her troops to another country? In cases of war, in cases of invitation, and coup attempt. And I would say few out of these were met, coup attempt and invitation, because the president said he was invited. Our president said he was invited by the president of Benin Republic, and that was why he went out there to save them. Well, let's just. Spiller King said Nigeria is a puppet state. And funny enough, family, do you know that if Nigeria was in Burkina Faso's shoe, Africa would have taken another turn by now? Do you know? Now, I'm not talking about the coup attempt and all. If Nigeria was doing half as well as Burkina Faso was, or our leader is half-assed. Okay, let's not compare, right? But we can't help it. If our leader had that mind of if he has mind of Captain Ibrahim Traore, other African countries would want to do well because we call Nigeria the giants of Africa, right? Now, if the giants of Africa is doing well, if the giants of Africa is doing exploits, other countries would look at Nigeria as what? As a role model. Unfortunately, it's not so in this case. From one trouble to another, insecurity to another, instability to another. It's been a lot, family. At some point, every day you wake up to, now we say the mercies of God are new every morning, right? Now in Nigeria, we would say that troubles are new every morning because every morning you get to hear of one story or another. Okay, so let's check the comments. If you're not an American, don't worry about our laws. Okay. All right. So back to what we're talking about, because we'll be ending this very soon. Well, recently we heard that unconfirmed, because this is a developing story. So yes, we're going to hear about it again. That the Burkina Faso government has actually released 11 personnel they detained. Why would you evolve over the airspace of another country? What did you expect? If they had opened fire, bombed that aircraft, nothing would have been done because you came to my airspace. You weren't supposed to be there in the first place. So, yes, family, each state does its own. Yeah, true. Rightly stated that each state, and let's not forget, family, that friends of Macron actually know themselves. Yeah. Do you know the proud to say that they have no hand in whatsoever happened in Benin? Yes, they say that. When we got away, the war actually happened that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu received the call. But our president also said he tweeted that it was because he got an invitation from the president of Benin. That was why he flew over as the Superman that he is to go save Benin Republic. But again, what was our aircraft doing? Our Nigerian Air Force said they had something. So let's just benefit of doubt, right, family? Let's benefit of doubt. They had issues, so they had to evolve around the airspace. That's the Faso. And at some point, they brought them down. They had to land, emergency landing, because it wasn't supposed to be in the first place. And the Burkina Faso government, not just the Burkina Faso government, the AES brothers have warned. Next time we see this, do not blame us if we take action. But let's talk about this, family. Don't you think they were calm and collected? They were cool, calm, collected. C3. Because just other countries, you cannot just go there and hover around without them thinking you have ulterior motive. I mean, this is threatening the sovereignty of that country. Yes, it is. Okay. They don't want Chari. Killer King said they don't want Chari to have a port. Well, based on what we've seen and the stories evolving over and over again from the beginning of this year, 2025, we know what Captain Ibrahim Traore has had to fight, how he got to this position. Now, recently, that was yesterday, I watched a video where he said that they have successfully disarmed the terrorists and they are fighting to ensure that they take over their territory. And that as a terrorist, if you are watching him, if you're watching this video, that was what he said, it's either two things. You do two things. Number one, run from Burkina Faso or you die. You be unalived. That was what he said. You either run as a terrorist in Burkina Faso or you be unalived. That was what Captain Ibrahim Traore stated. I mean, that's what we want as citizens in Nigeria. That's what we want as terrorists. It's either you lay down your arms, run for your lives, or you are unalive. If you are caught, recently the Burkina Faso government said they want to reinstate the death penalty that was abolished. I mean, the last death they recorded was 1988, last execution. But they said the law was abolished in 2018, and they said they want to reinstate that. And this death penalty is for terrorists and those who commit hideous crimes. Now, these guys have absolutely they're not sorry. They're not sorry. When they unalive people, take lives, properties, and what, they are not sorry. So why should we forgive them? I will always refer to what Putin said. To forgive is God's work, right? I'm not saying do not forgive a brother if a brother sins against you. That's a totally different thing, family. It's different. These guys take lives. They don't care. They are unapologetically brutal. Putin said, well, to forgive is God's work, but to send you to God is my work. I will send you to God. That is what we need, actually. That is what we need. And yeah, family, that's about it for today. That's the story we have for you today. And we will meet tomorrow, hopefully. And yeah. Burkina Faso government. We are going to confirm. I'm going to tell you tomorrow if really they released this Nigerian personnel, that's the soldiers, or they weren't released. We will know that. We'll check on it because it's a developing story. So I'll tell you tomorrow if they were really released or not. Yes. So for a few seconds, let's check the comments. AP3G8B said, villages of hundreds at a time, it's genocide. Yeah. Vico Real, Vico Real Space, hello. Hello to you. Oh, wow. This comment actually made me laugh. Okay. Yeah, AP3 GB8 G8B. We don't want to go into that right now. How kids are stuck. He said kids still stuck to their mothers back with eyes of trauma. Now we don't want to imagine what they saw. A few days ago, I did a story of a woman who came out to talk about her ordeal, what she experienced in the hands of these guys that's a terrorist, how that she was violated over and over again. I know you know what that means, right? She was violated. She was kidnapped by the terrorists and they violated her. Excuse me. Not one, not two. She said it took turns. I mean, in that video, she broke down crying. And at some point, I couldn't help the tears because our children were also kidnapped by these guys who have no heart, obviously. What would be done to our children? What? And now he said our president said they've been rescued. He didn't tell us how they were rescued. He just said they've been rescued. So we should clap our president. Yay, they've been rescued. No terrorist was arrested with family. Not one. They didn't tell us any terrorist was arrested. And we should be glad because they've been returned. Now, how about the remaining children? We've not heard from them. The president hasn't said anything. Well, and Robbie, that's if I got that correctly, he said, and you are in the worst place in Africa. I wouldn't say so. I would say that our leaders, I'm sorry, but let me make reference to Dubai. How was Dubai before how it is now? We know how it was built, how the leaders sacrificed, even if we know that some things are involved here and there. Let's not go to that. But we know how it was built, how they sacrificed to build it to what it is today. If our leaders can sacrifice their belly and their greed, trust me, Nigeria will be a very, very good place that foreigners want to run to. Yeah, trust me. The terrorists in Nigeria are using Western weapons. Funny enough, we talk about how that we are not sure how these guys get funded, their weapons and all, they have been funded. These weapons, we see it. You know, some of them are even more armed than Nigerian soldiers. Yes, they have more weapons, mercenaries than our own soldiers. So how can they fight against this terrorist? Sad. Very, very sad situation. Yeah, and that's it, family. Thank you so much for tuning in. These cameras are crazy, right? Yeah, let's not forget. Would say that we have scammers from Nigeria. Sadly, mom, bad ex was the rest. Thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, we will see you tomorrow. And if you haven't downloaded the Africa Diaspora News Channel app, what are you waiting for? Please download the app. Do well to download it. Thank you so much for tuning in. You have a good day.